This is Legal Break on WTVM with attorney Gary Bruce answering your questions about the law.
Hello there. Well, Gary, we have some questions today. One of them comes to us about a new case that's happening in Georgia, and it's regarding dog bites. Tell us a little bit about the rules or laws involved.
Well, there has been some new developments in Georgia law relating to dog bites. So the old law was this: every dog gets a free bite. That was kind of the law. That's what you learned in law school 30-something years ago, you know. So, and that really just alludes to this. You're entitled to assume your dog's going to be okay until you're on notice that the dog's a problem.
Okay.
And then the distinction was, well, what if he just jumps on people and doesn't bite, you know? Or what if he growls a lot and scares people and jumps on but doesn't bite, and then he bites somebody? Are you on notice? And so what's happened, and Alabama law has been a little better about this over the years. Alabama law says we look to the tendencies of the dog. So, and you have a duty to control your dog. So a little more, gives people that are victims of dog bites and dog injuries a little more latitude. But in Georgia it was a little bit more strict until recently. So the law is now, if you know your dog's a problem, take care of your dog, you know. And there's other reasons that you can be responsible for a dog. If there's a leash law in your community, then you have a duty then under the law to keep your dog under control and, you know, from jumping on people. Or that's what happens as much as anything. I mean, we see dog bites, but we also see dog jumps, you know, that hurt kids. And so anyway, we want to avoid all that, and there can be liability if you know your dog has a tendency toward that. Breed or not, the breed is sometimes an issue in Alabama, but in Georgia it's not really a breed issue. But we do, if you know it's kind of a problem, then protect protect people from your dog. You have a duty to do that.
Very good. And we have a question. Our man on the street question is Marlene from the Cantina, and she's going to ask it.
All right, good.
What are the legal ramifications if my establishment were to provide water to an owner of a pet on our patio?
Can you give water to the pet? Well, not the owner of the pet, but I think, you know, the same kind of rules apply. If you're creating a hazard for others by doing that, then I think you may have a duty that you breached. But otherwise, if you don't hurt the dog, then I don't see where there's any issue with that. Now, what are the damages if you do hurt the dog? I think that's an interesting question, because most people are very attached to their pets, and if you lose a pet, you know, it impacts their life in a big way. But the law in Georgia says this: a pet has the value that it would take to buy another pet. There's no pain and suffering. There's no emotional relief. It's just about the cost of an animal. So anyway,
very interesting.
Good questions. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you.